So after thoroughly playing with the new Bittboy for an entire day, I think I have come to fully grasp the extent of this handheld system that is modeled after the Nintendo's classic Game Boy and appreciate it for what it is. What's up, Dreamer Tribe? What's up, world? I am Bianca, and this, belatedly as it is through no fault of my own, is my review for the new Bittboy. So if you guys watch my unboxing and first impressions video, then you would know what a Bittboy is. Basically, it's a handheld designed to look like the Nintendo Game Boy and function as a Nintendo Game Boy, Nintendo Entertainment System, and Nintendo Game Boy Color emulator. So if you're into playing old school games and want to take a trip down nostalgia lane, then you would think that the Bittboy is the perfect handheld to have. And for the most part, it is, but it's not without any problems. Now, before we go into the negative aspects of the new Bittboy, let's first dive into what makes the new Bittboy great. First off, it's compact and light. Its small build makes it easy to pocket and carry around. And the fact that it has the ability to emulate 3 systems without you having to do much work in order for it to do so is something to laud at. The new Bittboy doesn't suffer from any legal problems as well, considering when you buy the handheld emulator, it doesn't have any games in it. Much unlike the other Chinese knockoffs in the market boasting of thousands upon thousands of preloaded games into their system, which is a practice that is very much illegal and frowned upon by the community. It is also much cheaper than those knockoff systems, and that's even when you put into consideration the shipping fees you would have to pay for. What's interesting about this new Bittboy is that unlike its older counterpart or the older Bittboy model, this one now allows you to make use of an SD card where you place your legally owned backups or ROMs. It has also a larger screen compared to the old Bittboy model, plus the inclusion of a much better sound system, though the quality still leaves something to be desired. Transferring your ROMs or your legally owned backups into the SD card is very easy to do as well, so much so that even a kid can do it. Now, it's really simple. It's a matter of just dragging and dropping the files into the root of your SD card. The emulator built into the new Bittboy also makes it so that you don't need to put, your games into separate folders in order to categorize them based on the emulator that will be playing it or will be, using it while it's loaded into the Bittboy. The Bittboy actually does that for you. It separates the games into folders and categorizes them properly in the actual Bittboy itself. It does so automatically, and that's pretty impressive and awesome, and also it saves you a lot of time. Plus, the new Bittboy really looks like a smaller version of the Game Boy, which is just aesthetically pleasing and cool. Similarly, the new Bittboy allows you to connect the handheld emulator into your TV, provided that it supports the AV cables that came along with the system. So granted, that feature isn't really a good one. It's not a good one to use, especially if you consider the aspect ratio that NES, Game Boy, and Game Boy Color games emulated in this little piece of hardware comes with. Now, it also has the ability to change the music's volume and the LCD's brightness, though it requires a combination of buttons pressed in order to change those settings. Since there is no physical or actual physical knobs in the system that would allow you to do so. The upgraded sound system of the new Bittboy also allows you to make use of a headphone, which is cool if you want to listen to the retro music playing as you're, playing your games and you do not wish to disturb anyone close by. Now, the package also came with a USB cable for charging the Bittboy up, and if you choose to buy it with the SD card bundled in, because they do have that option, then you would also get SD card USB adapter with the SD card already formatted for the Bittboy's use. Also, I have noticed that the new Bittboy also has an initial charge battery that can last up to 2 hours or more depending on the settings you have while you are playing it. Now, if you press the R button, which is this middle button right here, it brings up a menu where you can make a save state and such, which is a cool feature for this handheld emulator. Now, I believe the older model, I think, doesn't have this feature. So this is a new additional feature, a cool new addition to the new Bittboy. Now that we have talked about the good things about this new Bittboy and it's out of the way, let's now talk about the not so good things about this little beauty. Now, I know I applauded the new Bittboy's compact design and how easily it fits into my pocket, but its miniature size also has a drawback, and that is that it doesn't fit snugly when you're actually playing with a mini emulator. If you're an adult, you may find it hard and might need some bit of a time or a little bit of time getting used to having to hold a new Bittboy in a comfortable manner. For children and people with smaller hands, this wouldn't be an issue, so it's still something to take into consideration if you're planning to literally get your hands on this. Similarly with how lightweight this is, and with this generally being made out of plastic, I believe, I wonder about the sturdiness of this product. Personally, I feel like if I accidentally dropped this thing or if it slips through my hand and falls into the ground, it might easily break. Now, I haven't actually tested that since I don't want to wreck this thing, so I might be wrong about the shell's quality, but with the Bittboy that I do have in my possession, the back cover for what I suspect is where the battery pack is supposed to be, if this actually has a battery pack, it can be pried off. It feels like it's a little bit flimsy, like it literally might fall off. Now, the main menu that boots up with the new Bittboy is nice, and it doesn't have a convoluted display. Having said that, if your games do have long titles in them, if you ripped your own ROMs, made your own legally backup, and renamed them into something long, then it might take a while for you to read what the title is, as it displays slowly, and it scrolls really slowly. And there's also no box art images no box art image that displays when you highlight a game. So if you want to know what a game is, and it has a long title, then you would really have to wait for it to display the entire title. There is also no way to immediately delete a game from the menu. If you want to delete a game you have copied into the SD card, then you would have to do so by removing the SD card from the new Bittboy and plugging it back into your computer. So that's pretty much a hassle. Now on to the emulation itself. The emulation is a hit and a miss at times. Based from the dozen or so games that I have tested it with, there are also some games where the new Bittboy doesn't respond to and just completely glitches out. There's also some games where you notice the screen artifacts or the graphical glitches flickering that can get annoying and cause you a game over if it happens at an inconvenient place during an inconvenient time. The buttons in the new Bittboy also sometimes have input lags, and other times with how the buttons are assembled, it doesn't really respond the way it should. take the game Army Men, for example. Playing it is difficult in this handheld emulator because of the way the new Bittboy registers the directional keys. Now, if you are planning to get a new Bittboy hoping to play hacked ROMs in it, then you would also need to know that some hacked ROMs do not play well with it. I have tested it on several Pokemon, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy ROMs, hacked ROMs that are floating around the interwebs, and it's hard not to notice the graphical glitches that does occur in the new Bittboy, but those happen quickly and pass just as quickly. Sometimes you won't even notice it unless you have the music playing. There are other times, however, where the game basically just hangs and you're left with a white screen and an unplayable game. So if you're planning to get this just to play hack ROMs, not all hack ROMs work with this, so you have been warned. Another thing that I've noticed, and my sister who has tried this as well has noticed, is that games don't get saved as well when using the in-game function, and it's something that I have tested out on every game I have, like the Pokemon games and also Resident Evil Gaiden. There's also little information on it as well, even in their so-called user manual that came with the new Bittboy's box. So various aspects of this handheld is for you to personally peruse and explore and discover for yourself. Now we come to the really negative part of getting a new Bittboy. And the first one on that list is the payment and shipping, which I would say is the most important part of it. Now, the Bittboy's website, which also acts as their store, just like I have stated in my previous Bittboy video, isn't like other online stores with the seal that shows their security when it comes to handling credit and debit cards or your chosen mode of payment. There doesn't seem to be any security measures in it. They also take so long to process your order, going for days on end to even weeks with them not responding or updating your order status. And when you try to contact them, their customer service would not respond immediately, which, if you think about and consider it, can add to the worry and apprehension you might have mounting upon checking out your order. So there are also various complaints about people ordering 2 Bittboys and being delivered just one. They couldn't get any reimbursements or refund with that. Or sometimes it's the other way around. They would just order 1 Bittboy, but they will be charged with 2 and be delivered with just 1. So if you plan to buy using your credit card or debit card, be wary and always check your bank account to see if they billed you properly. Also stated in my unboxing video as well is the courier that they chose to ship their products. It's just atrocious. It will take months without the item moving in their facility that you begin to wonder if your Bittboy will actually ever arrive and if it will arrive intact. It doesn't even matter if you choose expedited priority or express shipping, which is a shipping option that their website, the Bittboy website, recommends, because it feels like you've chosen standard mail either way. And this isn't just based from my personal experience, but based from the experience of others as well, which I have read online. Now, lastly, the actual emulator. Though it is marketed as the Bittboy, the handheld doesn't really have its own emulator. It doesn't have a unique emulator running inside this hardware. Rather, it makes use of the Miu, I think that's how it's pronounced, Pocket emulator, which it doesn't even hide since its logo appears when you boot up the system, and that might not be much of a complaint until you kind of think about the Miu actually updates their emulators, and the Bittboy doesn't come with that function to update the emulator installed with it, even though it is the same emulator, the same Miu emulator. They haven't incorporated that yet. They provide you with no way to upgrade the firmware within, so you are left with a lower version of, I think, a Chinese emulator, so there's also that to consider. Battery life is, as one would expect, after initial charging, it can last up to 4 hours with full battery, but again, that's dependent on what settings you use when you're playing your games on the miniature emulator. If you're playing it at high brightness with loud music or loud volume, then the battery life will be expectantly lower and shorter. Overall, I will give this machine a barely passing grade. Would I recommend it? Probably if you're an emulator collector and if you're collecting things that look and feel like the Nintendo Game Boy. Now, if you just want to emulate NES, Game Boy, and Game Boy Color games, or even those hacked Pokemon ROMs, then there are more viable and cheaper options for you to take that would give you a much better control than the new Bittboy. Also, if you intend to order it, do so at your own risk. Keep in mind what I have talked about before in regards to the checkout process, their customer support, and their shipping. Now, I have heard, as Jay West pointed out in my unboxing video, that there is someone working on a hack for the new Bittboy. Googling it, however, gave me no actual results. So maybe that hack is still in the very, very, very early stages of development. Who knows? If you do know, please share what you know, share your thoughts about it on the comment section below. Well, that about wraps up my review for the new Bittboy. If this video proved useful and informative to you guys, then I would appreciate a thumbs up. Comments or questions about this product are also welcomed in the comment section below. Thank you all for joining me in today's video, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, you guys know the drill. Dream on, fly on. Bye bye now. What's up, Dreamer Tribe? What's up, world? I am Bianca, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content of this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button to let me know. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to be a part of the Dreamer Tribe, just hit on that subscribe button. We also have tons of different content here on my channel, so be sure to check those out. Until the next video, dream on, fly on.